others, you take those energies on, especially if you happen to be a healer or a helper. You probably already have that kind of energy where you're taking on energy of others so that you can transmutate it. They feel better and you feel awful, which is why you're having to smudge yourself again and again and again for a while, for days after that. Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, then welcome. I am Wyzdom DVine, Maestra, Shamanic Instructor and Healer and Metaphysical and Spiritual Mentor. I am also trained in Shamanic Reiki as a master. I practice curanderismo, some other energy work. I do a lot of things. I've been very, very busy over the span of my studies and my spiritual awakening, as I'm sure most of you guys have as well. So today I wanted to do a little something different with my videos, and it's been so long. So I'm so happy to be back. I haven't made a specific video just for YouTube in a while. I've done a lot of ceremonies that I posted up for you guys, and I did an interview with one of my expansion members, which was really, really wonderful. If you haven't seen that, Dior Nelson, go and watch that interview with her. She is a magical healer and practitioner and mentor. And so my interview with her went really, really great. So if you haven't seen that already, please go and check that out and watch that. So, but this is the first time in a long time that I made a video just informative for my YouTube viewers. So thank you so much for your patience. The page is growing. I'm super duper excited about how much the page is growing, all of the subscribers. Thank you so much for your comments, for your likes, for your shares, and your subscribes. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now and make sure that you click the bell so that you'll be notified every time I post with new content about shamanism and spirituality, metaphysical topics, and intuition topics, things like that. So do that. And if you are interested in more videos like the one that I'm doing today, go ahead and hit the like button as well. It really helps me out, helps to grow my channel and my business. So thank you so much for that. If you're subscribed to my email newsletter, you know that I'm doing a lot of things, transforming new things. I've opened up my mystery school. It's finally open and ready. We have 2 published classes up there already that you can take self-paced. You sign up for it, you buy it, you get on the portal, you take the classes at your own pace, and then what comes with that is some meetings, some meetups with me that you can work in groups with me on Zoom, ask more questions, dive in deeper, make sure that you're really integrating the information that's on there. And that is the kind of the hidden gem of those courses, is once you're enrolled, you get to come and meet with me up to 3 times per month on a meetup. And we just had one of those a little while ago, so I'm really excited to be moving on with that and to be meeting with the students and getting a chance to talk about that. Lots of good feedback so far about those courses, and we have 2 more courses coming up to be published up there. So altogether there will be 4 core classes when I'm done. And these would be the classes that you will take as prerequisites so that you can go on to get your certification in shamanism, become a certified shamanic practitioner and healer. First level is beginner's level, where you learn to heal yourself and you dive in deeper, doing your shadow work and working on different things in shamanic journey, connecting with your guides and your spirits and your spirit animals. And then level 2 is practitioner level, where you work some more on yourself, but you also have lab hours where you have to work on another person. You take journeys for them. You learn how to do healing for them in your shamanic trance, in your shamanic journey, with the help of your guides and the help of your animals. And we are in the process of level 2 right now, but don't worry, we're starting another level 1 in July. So if you're interested in becoming a certified shamanic practitioner and adding that to any modality that you already have, that you're already working with in your business, be sure to check that out. Message me, click on the links that I have in the description below, all of the above, and start with those prerequisites, those 4 shamanic path core classes that will be on my mystery school website. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, today's video I was going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to be answering some questions that I had my group members. And if you're not a member of any of my groups, I have a Facebook group, Your Metaphysical and Spiritual Journey, which is a big free group for you to interact with me some more and learn some things and come and have fun. We just had a competition yesterday, and the winner of that won a chakra cleansing and message from me, and with the help of the guides. And then I have the expansion group, which is a paid membership, and that I talked a little bit about in the beginning just now, but also in the interview with Dior. So if you want to have a little bit further, where you come and you join a group of people who are paying for the membership, we network, we're sharing different tips. There's a packet that you get once per month, expansion packet. This is called expansion for modern day mystics, where we're expanding on all levels. Every single month you get expansion tips on your money mindset and abundance. You get expansion tips on self-love, on your spiritual connection, on your knowledge, because that's what we're all doing here as students, right? We're growing and expanding in our knowledge base and our connections with the whole wide multiverse, right? So I am providing that as well. And so I asked my group members and students to ask me a few questions that I could answer on YouTube for anybody who might benefit from the answers to those questions. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to answer a few of these questions, and hopefully the answers to some of these also are interesting to you guys. So I have a couple of ideas for more videos coming up, but this one was something different. I wanted to make it a little bit special. So let's get into it. All right. So in shamanism, I teach both shamanic and intuitive, metaphysical, and I guess it's more than just 2, so I should have said both, and also mediumship, because not only am I a shamanic practitioner, but I am a medium since I was a child, okay? So that means that I am able to channel, discern, and feel energies from spirits all around me, whether it's from the spirit of something that passed away or the spirit of something alive, such as this plant here, right? So I'm hearing messages all the time. I'm discerning energy, and I'm seeing and speaking to spirits that have transitioned, passed away, so on and so forth. So I have a couple of questions from my students and group members that have to do with mediumship. The first one is, I am interested in all things about mediumship. I was told several times that I am a natural born medium, but I don't fully understand what that means. Any info on this topic will be very helpful. So I'm a natural born medium, but I don't understand what that means. So that's what I am. That's what I was saying. So when you are you didn't do anything to tap in, right? You didn't do anything specifically to practice your working with your spiritual eye, your third eye, to be able to work with mediums, to work with spirits, to hear spirits, to tune in and start speaking to spirits. You didn't necessarily start with the Ouija board. You just started coming into the energy of spirits that passed away. One of the ways that starts off, and it can, not always, but one of the ways that can start off is in dreams. So if you're having dreams of people who have passed away, these dreams are actually visits from the spirit that has passed away. And so they're coming to you because you're kind of this open beacon that spirits can see. If you can imagine Imagine walking around in a world that is, everything is like dark, like everything is like the lights are turned off or so on and so forth, right? And then there's this being walking around that is glowing, just this one being walking around glowing in the dark. And so lots of things would want to flock to that, right? Because there's a light there. Hey, I can see that. I can see that from far away. There's a light way over there. This is kind of how spirits see us. If you're a natural born medium, those spirits who are traversing through the spirit realm or traversing in our realm a lot of times, because they can be here and not transitioned over, they will flock to you because they can see that you have this ability to hear them, to discern their messages, to feel their energy, to feel their presence, to hear their wants and their needs and their desire. They may have been traveling around trying to talk to everybody in their own household where they passed away, and no one can hear them. No one's listening to them. No one's tuned into that. So what it means to be a natural born medium is that you're tuned in to these energies, even if you don't mean to be. I mean, it wasn't something that you meant to turn on. It just happens that it works for you that way, even when you don't want to. A lot of times people will even turn it off when they are young because it's not something that they wanted to have and they're afraid of it. There's things that you can do to set up some energetic boundaries, to make sure that you put a bubble around you, to tell them you don't want to be woken up out of your sleep, to tell them that there's only specific times and places when you do want to talk to spirit, and other than that, they do not have your permission to scare you or bother you in your energy. There's ways to like be in your dominion and authority, which is something that I teach in my classes. And when you get certified in shamanism, I teach you how to talk to spirits only in shamanic trance and shamanic, what we call shamanic journey. And that helped me a lot when I learned how to turn off these spirits. And sometimes they'll still nudge me and they'll poke at me, and I'll just remind them, okay, I'm coming to talk to you, but not right now. What I'll do is I'll step into my sacred space, I'll open up my protections and my sacred space around me. Sacred medicine space is what we call that in shamanism. And then I go into my sacred garden in shamanic trance. So my body is here, but my spirit has left and gone into the shamanic world, the spirit realm. And I go into middle world, and I go into my sacred space, and then I call forth that spirit to come and talk to me. It's not the only way I talk to spirits. I can tap in different ways, but this is the way I teach my students in shamanic training, so that you have a place and a time to be able to speak to them, and where there's some safeguards and you don't have to be worried about that. And you can also set some boundaries and some limits on them, that they can't just be bothering you just because you can hear them. They might try to kind of pester you because they're so excited that they finally found someone that can hear them and discern their messages. So that's what that means, and that is some ways that you can put up those boundaries and protect yourself. Okay, so next question. For mediumship, there was a time I was alone, very hurt and broken. I was sitting at my altar with one candle lit, grieving. I felt a presence come very strongly by my side, almost forceful. I then felt not myself after, and had to cleanse myself for many days in different ways. Could this have been a negative attachment at a time of vulnerability? Okay, so if you guys have been following me since Between Sis Stars, my podcast, so my dynamic duo, me and my sis star, Monet Moon Goddess, then you know that we have an episode when I talk about my I don't want to say non-belief, but my hesitancy in belief in certain negative spirits and energy. What I say in that video, in that podcast episode, basically is that if you are open to such things, if you believe in these things and you're open to them, then that absolutely could be what has happened to you. What I try to do is I try to not even allow my energy to be open to such interactions and connections. So that is not, it does not have my permission to come and infiltrate me. So if it is something that you were open to and you believed that it could happen, and you were kind of opening yourself up like this beacon, like I said before, as a natural born medium. We're talking about being open, having this beacon, just being open to attract a lot of these things. And you also were giving permission for negative entities. You didn't have protections around you. Again, you guys know I don't do the fear mongering, so I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything like that. I believe in protections, and I believe in setting them and forgetting them and knowing that they work. But is it possible that it was something negative? And a negative, I mean negative thought forms. I mean a transition spirit that was maybe depressed or had a lot of heaviness that hadn't been healed. And so that their heaviness that hadn't been healed, their energy, their yucky stuff that maybe got left behind in a residual sense, kind of that can latch onto you. Absolutely. And so that's usually, in my experience, what happens most often, is that it's not necessarily a bad or good spirit. Again, that's something else that you guys might know about me, that I don't believe in labeling things bad or good. So they aren't necessarily a bad spirit, a negative spirit, but it could have been a spirit that saw that you were a beacon, saw that you were open to interacting with spirits. You didn't have maybe a protection or any guidelines or boundaries set for who could contact you and who could come into your spirit. And you could be a natural, it's like a channeler, but even more than channeling the information, you are a vessel that they are allowed to fill up and come into your energy, which is a really, really, really hyper focused type of empath, basically. So you guys know that I have empaths, highly sensitive and gifted helper video, which I will link below. If you are one of those, then you will know what I'm talking about if you go watch that video on how you just happen to be, as an empath, you're pulling in energy all the time around you. So you can feel the energies of others. You take those energies on, especially if you happen to be a healer or a helper. You probably already have that kind of energy where you're taking on energy of others so that you can transmutate it. They feel better and you feel awful, which is why you're having to smudge yourself again and again and again for a while, for days after that. That can happen with people just as it can happen with spirits. And I had that in my video about setting energetic boundaries. You got to set boundaries with spirits and energy the same way you have to set boundaries with people. What you will and will not tolerate, what you will and won't take on. And it's not your responsibility to take on people's energy into your body so that they can feel better and that you feel yucky. Yes, you helped somebody. Yes, they're grateful to you, but that is very, very codependent way of healing. And we don't want that. No codependent shaman. My son's always saying that. His guides tell him, no more codependent shaman. Yes, no more codependent shaman or spiritual healers of any kind. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you close off your energy in the way that you are willing to interact with it. You are willing to get the messages from it. And you want your guides and your energy around you, your protections, your filters, to be able to transmutate that energy so that you can help heal it without using your own. You're not draining your energy. You're not using your body. You're not calling it in to yourself. You want to put up these boundaries for energy overall so that something like this can't happen. If you are the kind of person that has energy that's just open for everyone, then this kind of thing can happen with any kind of spirit or any kind of energy. You don't want that. So you want to set certain boundaries, just set them and forget them, write it down, journal it, put lots of intention into it, give your guides permission to act as a bodyguard on your behalf all around you so that energies that are not for your highest good are not allowed to come into you, come into your energetic space. If you are a healer, you can set it to where only when I open sacred space and I step into my healing workshop or my healing space, that's when these energies can come in there, and only for the purpose of healing and transmutation, only so that I can bring them in long enough to heal them and transform this energy, transmutate it and turn it from lead into gold, right? We are alchemists. So we want to do that. We don't want to just take it on and now we're filled with lead because now we're heavy, right? We don't want that. So we want to make sure that we're only bringing it close enough to work on it, and then give it back. So probably what you did experience was a spirit, an energy of some kind that wanted to feel healed, that wanted to feel that somebody understood, that wanted to feel heard. And it gave you all of this sad and bad feelings for you to carry and for you to transmutate, because it was like a codependent relationship. But like, just make me feel better. I don't want to do it on my own. I see that you have the power to do it, so I'm just going to give it to you. So I hope that helps and answers your question. All right, next. When learning shamanism, when do I know when it's okay to go on a journey to help another person? This is a really, really great question, especially because I teach in different levels of shamanism. So when you first learn with me, level 1-1, we're going to learn how to go on certain journeys, and we're going to learn how to go to the different worlds in shamanic cosmology, shamanic realm. We have upper world, middle world, lower world. We're going to meet our guides. And then we'll go to level 1-2, and we'll start doing some work on ourselves. We'll start learning about shamanic chakras and how to work with chakras in a shamanic way. We're going to learn about cord cutting in a shamanic journey, because I know there's lots of ways to cut cords, but we're going to learn how to cut cords in a shamanic way through a shamanic journey. We're going to learn about lots of different things that you're going to be working on yourself in beginners level. However, somebody could come to you while you're learning how to do these things, and they could ask you, well, since you know how to do this, can you do a journey for me? Oh, you just healed a past generational trauma in your class or in your journey that you did. Can you do that for me? They might ask you, right? Again, same thing with like the codependency and the boundaries, right? We want to set boundaries. We want to honor our limitations. So what am I going to recommend? And if you're my student, you're going to know what I'm going to recommend. So if you're my student, I'm going to tell you to take a journey and talk to your guides. So take a journey and ask your guides, do I have permission to do this journey for another person? And let them tell you in journey whether or not it's okay and what to do. They'll tell you how to set it up. They'll tell you if the other person needs to do something first. They'll tell you we'll just guide you. We'll tell you how to do it. Or they might tell you, no, actually, we're working on your energy. You cannot take on someone else's energy right now. You have lots of layers and karma and things that have to be worked through, all of these different layers before you're ready to open your shamanic space for healing to others. Because you don't want to it's like kind of bringing company over into a packed and hoarded house, right? So if you're a hoarder, you got all this like stuff piled up all around you, people can't even get into the door, and you're trying to invite them to come in to heal them in that space, you wouldn't be able to, right? So you need to work for a while on yourself and get through all that trash and that gunk, all that psychic buildup, all that karma, all that trauma, all that shadow work, right? Clear the windows off, let the light in, right? And then you can bring somebody in your space. So when I was first training and people would come to me, because if you are meant to be a shamanic healer, that's in my videos, 8 signs that you were meant to that you have a call to shamanism. And I will link that in the description below as well. One of the signs is that your community comes to you. They ask you for advice. They ask you for healing. They're always coming to you because they've nominated you. Back in the ancient days, they basically would have nominated you the healer, the town healer, the village healer, the tribe healer. And by doing that, that's because they know, they sense that you can help them, that you have the wisdom, that you have the gifts that can help them and heal them. So in the modern day, that looks like strangers talking to you, classmates and co-workers talking to you, coming to you for advice, coming to you when they have pain and sorrow, wanting to dump on you. Again, we still want to set boundaries. I had a student one time that just came out to me in summer school. I was in summer school with him, and he sat in front of me, and he was from another school, and he just kept turning around like he wanted to say something, turn around like he wanted to say something. Then finally he turned all the way around, he faced me, and he told me that he was gay. And he told me he didn't know why. He needed to tell me that, but he's never come out to anyone before. But he felt for some reason compelled that he could come out to me, and he hasn't come out to his family yet. And we talked about that. We talked about the pros and cons of coming out to his family, and just the pain that he was feeling that he wasn't able to come out just yet. And I felt very honored that he chose me to have this conversation, because I had never met him before. So that's a sign that you were meant to be a shamanic healer at some point. But you want to do some healing on yourself before you do a shamanic journey for them. And ask your guides if you're ready. Your guides will tell you. Sometimes they'll help you to take that person to another space, or you're just holding space, because again, we can be beacons of light and we're just opening space and we're holding space and we see the healing happen. It's like introducing two people, right? I can't bring you into my house yet because my house is hoarded and all filled with stuff I'm still healing, but I can take you to this guide who is a higher dimension being than me, and I can introduce you to, and now they can do all the work on your spirit, and I'm just there to facilitate the meeting. I just hold the space so it happens. And that even happens with higher skilled healers, people who've been healing and doing journeys for years. Like I still to this day, sometimes I am just facilitating something that's happening between two spirits. That's also how it happens a lot of times with mediumship. The spirit, someone's ancestor or transition loved one, they want to talk to them. They don't really want to talk to me. And I just watch the conversation happening. And then I'll go back and tell my client what the conversation was, what kind of things happened between the two of them. So that is one way that you can do it. And so if you're not doing shamanic journeying yet, or you're interested in it and you think that you might be pretty good at journeying, but you're just not sure. One of the things I did when I was in training was I would try to refer them to my healer, my shamanic trainer, my shamanic healer, and so refer them to them or somebody else that you know that does shamanism, that's certified as a practitioner level and has a practice that they've been working with, and you trust them, you feel like they do good work. You could try to refer that person to that other person and see if they would be a good fit. I've done that lots of times, and that person might still come back and say, I did the journey with them and I just didn't feel like it got all the way, everything that I wanted. I still want to wait for you. Let me know when you're ready to start seeing people, because I would like you to do a journey for me. Or they could say no, flat out no. They could say, no, I don't want to work with anyone else. I only want to work with you. Or they could say, sure. And then they go work with the other person, and then it just never comes up. And you just have faith that your tribe will find you, your clients, your perfect soulmate clients will find you. The people you were meant to heal will find you when it is time for your doors to start opening. If you do not do shamanic journeys, though, and you want to ask your guide, you can do that in meditation. You can do that with a quick card reading. Light your candle, open your space around you, invite your divine spirit team to be here for you to answer this question for you, and then wait for the answer. Either you can do some automatic writing, you can just wait to hear the answer in your meditation. You can just kind of feel it in your gut or see a vision of what you think it means, or you can pull some cards and see what the cards say. You can have different ways of asking your guides, am I meant to do this healing work for them? The question was about shamanic journeying, though. So if you're being asked by someone to do a shamanic journey for them, you should already be journeying for yourself. So again, my answer would be to take a quick journey, ask your guides, and that's exactly what I did when I started my business. The first person that asked me, she was in Berlin. She was all the way in another country, and she asked, do you see long distance clients? Are you able to do what you do as a healer long distance? And I had only done it for some family and friends at that time, and I hadn't actually done it as a business yet, but I was toying around with opening the doors to my spiritual business. And I took a journey. I asked my guides, and they said, yes, absolutely. And they also reminded me, don't forget, the work doesn't come from you. It comes from us through you. So it was okay that I wasn't all the way, like super duper, maybe ready, or of course, there's always going to be shamanism, something you're always going to be learning and always going to be training and always going to be absorbing new information. I'm studying shamanism for life, even though I'm already a shamanic healer. So even though that's the case, I could still see clients because the guides were going to guide me, and then all of the information and healing was coming from them and just through me. So I hope that answers your question. And we're going to move on to the next question now. Okay, last question for this video is scrying. I was given a scrying bowl on my new altar in my sacred space, and I have no idea what it is / what to do. So let's talk a little bit about scrying. Scrying is basically the act of looking into a reflective surface of some kind and waiting for an answer. And again, I would still advise that you light your candle. So that invites the spirit and the energy. It says that I'm ready to step into my spirit work. I'm ready. I'm here to have answers from spirit. Get very, very centered. Open up your sacred space around you, your protections. And you learn how to do that with me in the first class in my mystery school. With that class, if you are wanting to learn how to do that, I have a worksheet to help you write your own protection statement. So you get the worksheet, you have your protection statement, you read it, you have opened it around you, and now you have your scrying surface. And that could be a bowl where you put water in it and you look in the surface of the water. It could be a mirror. It could be some other type of shiny reflective surface, something that you're going to see your reflection in. Now, there's two ways to do that. Some people ask the question and then they look into the surface expecting to see the reflection of their own face kind of changing or morphing, or the reflection of something else appears on this surface. So if you have a bowl, it's probably for water. And so you're going to put the water in there and you will look into the water and you would see what answers come to you on this surface. Either looking at the surface and then it's going to come to you, it's going to look like a reflection, and that's why you're using a reflective surface. Some other people use it to just kind of meditate on that surface, and it kind of puts them into, we call this like so there's your eyes that look outward, right? It's kind of like if you're thinking like a camera, right? A camera that goes outward and a camera that looks inward. So you got your inside eye, your inside camera, and your outside camera. So while you're looking at the reflective surface, your eyes are softly gazing on the water or the mirror, but then you turn on into your inside eye where now you start to see vision. So it kind of like helps you to kind of go into a trance or sink into your third eye visions, so that the visions start coming to your mind's eye, your third eye or your mind's eye. You see them in your mind's eye while your actual physical eyes are kind of gazing at this surface, if that kind of makes sense. I do shamanic journeying, so that's how I go and see my answers, where I tap in. Sometimes I don't always go fully into journey, but I close my eyes, or I can even do it with my eyes open actually, and I just tap in and get answers. I don't look at reflective surfaces. I don't do work with mirrors. If you've been following me since Between Sisters, you know I'm always smudging mirrors. I have a lot of things about mirrors. So I don't use mirrors in a lot of my work. I do use mirrors in my sacred space and stuff, and so that helps kind of reflect energy back away from my altars and my workspaces. But as far as like for scrying, I don't do that, but I do understand the concept of it. So if you're interested in scrying, like I said, I would just say make sure you light your candle, make sure you open up your sacred space around you, and you give that permission to the guides that nothing is allowed to come in the space that does not have your highest good at heart or the good of the whole collective. Okay, so I hope that helps with that answer. Let me know, and let me know, you guys, in the comments. Let me know right now, do you have more questions that you would like me to answer in future videos? Did you like this video? Do you want me to make more videos like this where I answer your questions in a video, and so everybody can benefit from the answers? Let me know in the comments if this is something that you want me to continue doing as a series. That is it for me at this time. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Much love. Bye-bye. Hey, don't forget that if you want to work with me more or learn more from me, whether you want to join a class or just follow me on social medias, click in my link tree link below, and it will take you to all of the things where you can find me on Instagram. Follow me, I post there. I post a lot on Facebook. I have the two groups, the free group and the membership group on Facebook. I have the mystery school where you can take courses with me, sign my email. Sign up for my email newsletter as well, because I give lots of information and tips and discounts to my email newsletter subscribers as well. And reach out to me. It's also in my link tree if you want to DM me on Messenger to ask me any questions. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day.